Ravens Hollow was a town steeped in shadows, a place where whispers lingered longer than the sunlight. The old Ravens Hollow orphanage stood atop Widow's Hill, a monument to forgotten childhoods and hushed-up tragedies. Locals spoke of the Silent Room, a place where sound dared not travel, a place where children vanished without a trace. The story started small. A child gone missing, a muffled cry silenced too soon. Then the whispers grew, weaving into the very fabric of the town. The Silent Room, they said, was a hungry beast, consuming the silence and those who dared to disturb it. Sarah wasn't from Ravens Hollow. A young journalist hungry for truth, she travelled from town to town, chasing stories that sent shivers down people's spines. The legend of the Silent Room had piqued her interest, a morbid curiosity blooming in her chest. Armed with her notepad, a digital recorder, and a healthy dose of skepticism, Sarah arrived in Ravens Hollow. The townsfolk warned her, their eyes wide with fear. "Don't go looking for trouble," they said, but their warnings only fueled her determination. This wasn't just a story, it was a mystery begging to be solved. The air grew heavy as Sarah approached the orphanage. The iron gates groaned open as if disturbed after years of slumber. The stench of decay hung in the air, a mix of damp wood and forgotten memories. She stepped inside, her footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Cobwebs draped the hallways like macabre decorations. Cracked picture frames on the walls held the vacant stares of forgotten children. Each room was a testament to a childhood lost, a silent scream trapped within the decaying walls. A chill ran down Sarah's spine, but she pressed on, drawn deeper into the heart of the orphanage. The door to room 6 was different. While the others hung from their hinges, this one stood resolute, almost defiant. The number 6 was scratched into the wood, the paint peeling like scabs on an old wound. This was it, the Silent Room. Sarah took a deep breath, pushing the door open. The room was surprisingly bare. A single bed, a dusty dresser, and a lone chair facing a chipped mirror. The air hung heavy and still, devoid of any sound. Even her own breath seemed to vanish into the oppressive silence. Section 5. A silence that screams. The silence was unnerving. It wasn't the peaceful quiet of a library, it was an absence of sound, a void that seemed to suck the air from her lungs. Sarah felt a prickle of unease crawl up her skin. The room felt wronged. She tried to speak to break the suffocating silence, but her voice caught in her throat. She fumbled for her recorder, its familiar weight a comfort in this unsettling stillness. She pressed record, the red light a beacon in oppressive gloom, but even the electronic hum of the recorder was swallowed by the room's unnatural silence. Section 6. Reflections of fear. Her gaze fell on the chipped mirror. A shiver ran down her spine. It wasn't the mirror itself, but what she saw reflected in its depths. Standing behind her, a shadowy figure flickered at the edge of her vision. Tall and gaunt, it seemed to be made of the very shadows that clung to the room. Sarah whipped around, heart pounding against her ribs, but there was nothing there. Just the empty room and the oppressive silence. Had she imagined it? A trick of the light? She tried to rationalize her fear, but the image of the shadowy figure lingered in her mind. Section 7. Trapped in the void. Panic welled up in her chest. The room seemed to be closing in on her, the silence pressing against her like a physical weight. She needed to get out. Now, she stumbled back towards the door, her hand reaching for the handle, but the door wouldn't budge. It was as if an unseen force held it shut. She rattled the handle, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. She was trapped. Section 8. The Vanishing. The shadowy figure reappeared in the mirror, this time closer, its form more defined. Terror gripped Sarah's throat, choking her screams into silent pleas for mercy. It reached out from the mirror, its touch a whisper of icy dread against her skin. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, and with it, Sarah was gone. The room stood empty, the only sound the faint rustling of wind against the boarded-up windows. The silent room had claimed another victim. Section 9. The legend continues. The next morning, the caretaker found Sarah's belongings scattered outside room 6. Her recorder lay open, the last recording a chilling testament to her final moments. The townsfolk shook their heads, a mixture of fear and grim satisfaction on their faces. They had warned her. From then on, the legend of the silent room grew even darker. It wasn't just a place of silence, but a gateway, a portal to some unknown terror that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. And Sarah's disappearance served as a chilling reminder to all who dare to tempt fate. Some stories are best left untold.